how can I say this? They wrote the problem, this first one, number one, paragraph that you could write. The 3 problems. So please here, okay? It's the words, although, however, between the advantage and just introduce the solution provided in Unit 8, practice papers and sample answers. And then I want to use the words alternative. Also use the word, solution too. I really prefer alternative. On the other hand, that's fine. Okay, over now to, I'm going to the teacher because there's more information on the teacher copy to you as well. Because you don't. Let me find it. You have lots of stuff open, Microsoft Teams. Okay, I apologize. All right, here's the same document, but now everything's highlighted. Everything. All right, so let them is poor air quality is flu peak season. Basically, what they're saying is the poor quality on that, especially when. All right, so how can we do this? We've got our 2 solutions: open windows, and remember, you need the disadvantages down here to discuss is and disadvantages. Added ideas. You have to add these ideas. Add the ideas. What was the other thing I was going to say? This is a requirement. So I don't mean to be mean or anything, but you have to add these ideas. Advantages in yellow, and I'm advantages in green. So here we go. Okay, so this one is poor air quality, flu, open windows, or purchase. It says about the air factory, especially during flu. Solve the problem. So this is a way to start your sentence with to keep the windows open. So that's solution. The air circulation will be advantage. The air circulation will be better to introduce it. However, it's a disadvantage. The club. Okay. Now, 2. But instead of using the word, use the phrase another solution. You're going to use this. That's fine. But because you've got the 2 here, so this is a verb does not have because it's infinitive. The word alternatively or another solution would be to. Solution would be to purchase air purity in the clubhouse. Nevertheless to introduce it is nevertheless to introduce it with advantage. No, it's only involve extra money for the purchase and errors. Okay, one way you could write remember they give you all words although, however, or bus. Okay, then you introduce the solution. Again, you can use the practice papers or sample answers. I'm going to stop right here and just say we're introducing the solution at page 6. So I'll put that just to show you. So let me show you it's called Unit 8-6. Where is it? You do have, I hope you remember that we talked about this. It's page 6. If you look up EWC Unit 8, so you can use these solution. These are, okay, so we did talk about it in class. Go back now. And let's go back to this. Other ones. We've got accidents last month, post part-time cleaning stuff. Let's see. What would you say? How would you write this as a, what would you do? How would you, so remember, first then you've got to give more information. And you need to talk about, could you do here? I almost want to just show you an example we could do. I'm going to do sentence building. We've got to do the useful expression one. I think what we'll do is, because this is important, do sentence building back to this so that way you can. You're in my Tuesday class to show you, and you've Tuesday class and you haven't seen it yet. The next, we're going to switch to something else really quick because let's see. So we're going to do, you probably have not seen this before to you yesterday. Now that document, but we're going to use this info paragraph. All right. So remember, the target is not to make your sentence longer. This does not mean you're going to have a higher. Why the sentence is longer is so that you get your information. And remember, elaboration is. All right. So first, their document. I like it because they words that you might write an adequate, not ample, lack of, because this is a noun, a in front of it, and you got, notice over here though we've got lack, and be careful of this word lack, or you can use it like a verb. An adjective, which means very dirty. So this is an adjective plus, which means when the floor is wet. You can use an adjective, not enough is an adjective. We've got poor quality, or poor is the adjective, quality. Let me see, where is that paper now? We're hygienic. We've got ditches, we've got crowded, we've got it will take a lot of money, we've got dirty, impolite, we've got polluted, we've got complicated. Our adjectives you're going to see, hopefully you've already looked at the take-home assignment. The possible respondents. Remember, there's who complain. There might be club, people who go to, it's a school, maybe it's the student, it's the teachers. People who live somewhere, it's the resident. Maybe it's, or your STEM. Your people you work with. If it's a guest, it's people on it, or maybe people on a bus. It would be a museum or some, but not all the time. It could be visitor joined an activity. You could call it be some sort of situation where those are the people that complain. Possible negative drive the problem. We've got the people who, how do we build this paragraph? All right, the problem. Okay, let me see. I don't actual paper open. Give me just a second. I'm going to open. Okay, so that is to you more. Let's see. Where I sent to you yesterday. So you did get an extra. So remember on the practice module assignment over here, there's actually two pieces of it. The problem, it's you have more information. Okay, so remember you've been in brackets more information. Let's go back to this other piece. In a paragraph, you want to talk about. You can start your sentence with one of these. You want to say about this called 03 building many ways to write your. You can look at all the different sentence patterns I've given you, all like this, but in all the different steps. So going over this. All right, so you're going to graph in your sentence with words like concerning, in terms of, problem. Okay, so then after you say the problem, so you're going to use who, the who, people who complained. So who could complain? So respondents are people. So the residents, you see members, you see colleagues, you see, then it's reported speech. So that's when you feel, that's when you're talking about what's like said that, reported that, complained that. Got that part there. All right. Okay, so we've talked about say the problem. Okay, and one thing I did not say, sorry, you're going to do the sentence pattern, many sentence patterns, but if, we've got the question mark after it. Okay, then now we're here, step 2, and use reported speech. So, all right, then step problem and who, and 3 is give more information. That's in the dark part right here. Spaces, residents said that areas are always full and crowded. That's the problem, step 1. Number 2, they are often not punctual. That's step 3, more information. Drinks, that's step 1. That's step 2. Okay, condition of changing rooms, that leaks complained that is too stuffy and sometimes smells. The environment, customer, that's step 1. Customer's point is step 2. Now, one thing about this, it's in the reported, after the word said, you've got selected, you have the word that. So notice you have the word, so complain that, because you have you clause, okay, here. That means you have a group of words, which means you need a verb and then object. Need a subject and a verb. You notice here it said that the parking areas is our verb, and then always full and crowd object or the clause. Again, is our subject verb, and then often not post that is the taste here is the not acceptable. It is our subject, and then object or same with here. We've got it and poor is an adjective or your clause. Okay, so now step 4, say the problem. Then you can use complained. Then we know about the problem. Now you need to explain why this is the is not. Now this is where your document looks really nice. We'll like it because it's like, oh, see, this is easy. I can do this. Get to step 4. The not always on. This is not an assignment. It's not on all the practice. So I would be careful about how you use this. You're going to like it. I think a lot of easy because it's got all the different except. The assignment might not include all this. So you're like, well, where's step 4? Why? It doesn't always give it to you. Be very careful. All right, but when you have, if you use since, as, at, all of these, where is it again? Since, that, you're going to have them. But if you're going to use or something like do, you can't have SVO, a noun or noun phrase. Did this for some students don't know the and because of. It says, please note the difference between. If you're going to use the words like right here, as or that, require SVO after. No, because of, you cannot after being a noun phrase. And we did talk about this. So because of, students get them mixed up. You're going to write the word because go after it. At least write because of. You cannot have a noun phrase. Okay. So notice if S subject is in blue, and then the O is actual clause or could be an adjective. If you need to write a noun because of, then I've highlighted it. All right, so they keep building on it. So spaces, step 2, about that. Then we have steps and said that the parking areas. Now we get to step 4. And said that the parking areas are always because the parking. Okay, here we have reflected that they are often since. As for the quality of drinks, students will as the drinks use sour. Changing rooms, comma, colleagues, smelly. due to the faction system is often working. In terms of the environment, is poor because of, all right, so that's, again, because sometimes they give you enough, do not give you enough information. All right, now, next step is, so we've talked, need to give the solution for the why. Now you need to give the solution. Paper, they call it benefit on the advantage. So, okay. Some other teachers are benefit. So you need to give the solution is given to you. The end of module assignment. The benefits, so please remember, you have to have about the president said that the parking areas are parking lots are limited. All right, did that. We expect to accommodate slots. All right, so here's the so that. Now here comes the so that the residents would not. Members claim that they're often respectful to the members since that it is advisable versus department organize a training workshop for the coach. Students, I have to say, just here. Here's the solution of the advantages to teach the members. That would be advantage one. Members and the coaches can make. So they're actually giving you tips here. Is great. You don't have to. One benefit or one advantage. All right, next. As for the qualities reported that the taste or not taste too sour. Direct good idea to. All right, cell can. Why do we want to do this? What's the advantage? In order to standardize, which can as well fit the. Which can fit the taste. Some of these papers, but it's not very good now. That's how you would write some different people as well. That's so giving the solution and the benefit first together. I think giving them including the basics, but if they want to put it together because they were running out of room on the document. What about this one? One is special because remember that that is so important. Solutions. Remember, so you've got solution one and then you've got solution two, disadvantage. All right, so they're going to use this. We're going to talk about this. Okay, so that's what they're using down here. What it looks like on paper. Now, I don't know where, because engineering students, to me, this looks hotel, and if you haven't seen this before, it says, in terms of the environment, pointed out that it is poor because we suggest ask to offer regular cleaning to the solution, so that, okay, here advantage, so that the hygiene can be, so now here comes the disadvantage, their workload, okay. Got the advantage and disadvantage. Now we have to talk about solution, keep the place clean. Using the word alternatively, or that you use the word alternative. Another solution would be to. The solution would be the to, you need the verb. This is infinitive. So another solution would be to remind, however significant. I gave you a disadvantage, but it's an advantage here. Another solution would be to remind customers. They did not include an advantage quickly enough. Otherwise, we're going to have. Okay, so, and since you're all here, some students want, because I keep telling you, you need to add, some students think some people solve the problem. Yeah, of saying advantage, but it's big enough information fits the situation. Because the problems, oh, this will solve the problem. Won't get points, will not help your grade. This would probably, because this lot to put. So this right, so students don't write. Right, so what can we write those? See, another solution would be to remind customers. All right, what is the advantage of customers to keep the place advantage of this solution? Can you how remind customers to keep it's very cheap, right? Things up. That's about it. You could say to remind customers to keep the place. To remind customers this cost. This would be a very inexpensive. Or you could say solution involved. Now, why did I use involve? We talked about this, and when something involve, so use the word involve. You want to use disadvantage. This will, but since now we're saying that's a good thing. Require a lot of money. So involve. Let me put it that way. You can use it with advantage. Let me put this on another line here. Not. It doesn't require some. So you can use that. Maybe let me put it. Okay, so if you're going to use involve, use that with the disadvantage. Involve something. That means it's something. Use that phrase when you are. Let me just highlight that down there to remind. I'll send this again. Okay, I fixed everything that I didn't like. Here we go. Steps. Remember to again. Lots and lots of. This is just one of them. If you're going to do this all through 4 or 5 or do this for all of your paragraphs, are going to sound a lot or two. That's fine. but we need to start with the problem. Here, you're going to use these words. Remember, two would be you need report a group of people who complain speech words such as said, reflect, to point it out, and then you need the word. And because you have the word got of that clause, means you definitely need subject and maybe something else. Step 2, we've got step 3, information about the problem. Or after you say more, say why. You need to. So you can do when you different ways of explaining why. Object or phrase. And so that's where is very colorful. These first are SVO patterns is in here. Okay. Difference between because and because of VO. If you use because of, you can't. All right. Then when you give the solution and to add your own idea, the advantage. Then when you see solutions 1 and 2, something if you involve something, if something does something is not required in that. All right. Now first paper we started off with. Solutions. Okay, so your copy of this doesn't have all this highlighted. So I'll send this to you either tomorrow. I'll have more time. Let's see. So you've got slippery floor. That's the problem. Is there were 2 accidents last month. Solutions. Post warning something up, or something part-time cleaning. Okay, we think about this. What is disadvantages of you put warning signs on the wall of your business or your office? What's the advantage of that? I think. Okay, I think putting up signs is maybe write the sign and then have somebody signs up on a wall. So it's not very the disadvantage of that.
See the sign and not.
Very good. Right, people will see it, and some people signs on the wall, and there's just so many signs. So good point. Advantage, inexpensive. Just read the sign, right? Cleaning staff. What would be the cleaning staff?
In the
exactly. You know for sure that the dried, right? Because somebody else hired people to do that. Again, it's expensive. Yeah, it's expensive. More people. That's gonna. All right. So this is what they wrote. Members reported. Remember the members of the people who complain. That's reported speech. And remember clause. So you have SVOs. That's the subject. Slippery. Okay, slippery, because this is what you're going to see. They talk. Then it says, in fact, months. Okay, so now here we have the first solution. Comma. We could around the clubhouse. Okay. It's an immediate and immediate means we can do it right within a day or two, and it's an inexpensive. Not expensive. Not every member would pay a 10 member. Not everybody is going. Alternatively, there's that you want to use to. We may consider employing some part-time cleaning. Is the advantage. The floors will, but so will increase our monthly. So students, you will notice the idea of how something is a very common on the end of module. To warn you, please don't put this will cost money. This will cost money. You just say the same distance. Not good. Variety in your ideas. Same. If you keep saying, oh, be inexpensive, this will not cost you. Need a variety in your. To remind you, I don't know why N is capital. Advantages are in yellow. Okay, maybe not yet. All right, now we've got coffee shop. Information about that. Cockroaches found. Insect killing spray. Insects, bugs, and spiders. Intensive cleaning of a lot, like lots of cleaning. All right, that's insect killing spray of using insect killing. Okay, an expensive. Quickly, it won't take a lot of time. What would of using insect killing spray smell like? So usually not pretty good. Coffee shop, I would not want to sit like insect killing. The disadvantage. What about intensive cleaning of the coffee? Advantage, intensive. I would say it'd probably be a job. I think with it might bugs, but I think if you cleaning, that would probably be what would be the disadvantage? What kind of jobs some of you have? If they do intensive, either have to close the office for employees, have to work another room that day because, so that will be, let's see what they wrote. It says, let me see if I can put that up here. It has been found that the condigenic as cockroaches were found situation. So here comes solution 1, insect killing spray. If you want to add the words after, it's in brackets, which means that part. It is a cost-effective solution, but the spray may smell in the shop or this doesn't smell in the shop. So that's the other hand. So now we're going to talk. Remember, I like the word alternative. Other hand, you can. of cleaning of the coffee shop. That we may need to close down the shop for one day. You can no customers can make sure that so you can solves the problem, right? But it can make sure that the environment right. For the next one, this one is I don't know. So it says limited choice. That's the problem. More information. Yoga classes a week problem. So remember, and this isn't about this. We talked about this then about what all the different symbols this means. Something like increase, and it says variety 1 or solution 2. All right, so let's see. Let's talk about this. Let's talk variety of fitness courses. What if variety of fitness courses, not just yoga? Well, remember, people are saying, so we don't know what the problem 3 classes, or because maybe people, they want some kind of class, or maybe they group weightlifting class. I guess it's both. I think maybe they want more classes. So it says limited choices. Maybe some people don't want to learn things. So yeah, increase the variety and offer more customers, and that will make them happy. The disadvantage of more courses. Maybe you have a lifting class. It's like a class, like English class or any of class requires usually. So, that might take some more staff, cost some money. What about survey with memory? You can use survey, a noun or a verb. Survey is like a questionnaire, right? So what would be this, having a survey? Say, advantages, you would know exactly. So if you want a dance class, or if they want to, so you will know what they want. So advantage would be really the first step in solving survey, which will take a little bit of time. Read the survey and figure out, create those courses. So that time to do all that, and then I think that's only really step 1 in seeing the problem. I think the other, again, this will take some time to do all this. Because you have to create the survey out. Maybe some people have to analyze the survey. But here would be the biggest disadvantage. That was 4 we were working on. We've got reflected that our fitness courses were limited. Yoga classes every week. A good idea to provide a greater, such as, and then you could add some if you want, like dance class. So that's the solution. Pick the different members. That's the hire extra instructors, and an instructor, is like a teacher. And you want to hurry up and fix the problem. Okay, so here's solution 2: survey with members preferences. So to find out the classes they want. That takes time and involvement. Okay, so that's a phrase. This takes time. If something takes time, you can say it also uses that word involves a lot of. So that's how you use solutions. 2 suggestions here, but at the waiting 2 suggestions. When paragraphs, I'll change the document I sent yesterday, so it'll say hand right now. There's one other, got about 6 or 7 minutes. Let's see if we can do yesterday as well. Students, I kind of don't like, a little bit confusing. And the thing is, you've got this 1, 2, okay, I see 4 boxes, 3, 4. So you think be with this one and this, and means this, but it's really, they've kind of changed it. So it's okay. It's kind of fix it and send it to you again, and I'll fix it. I'll make a video. So I'm going to, then after you read these 4 steps together, but again, I feel like it's, you'll see why they've some of the words here. So but now this is paragraph, right? All our staff members pointed out that we in the office, that's the problem. Time for more than 2 days every week. So what do you write? You can say, an idea to hire staff to share the workload, verb in yellow. Wondering where 2 and 3 came from in response to the problem. They got it from here to this problem. It may, here's step 2, here's step 3. Again, it doesn't correspond to why I have a problem with it. So you can say, a good idea to hire, employ more. Then you benefit. So say it is hope the manpower problem, or it is hope that hours for our staff. So that's how the paper is designed, this document. Hey, what I'm going to go to, because remember, these 2 solutions are important. So example, and again, this is package HT is hotel and one, because you guys are in over here. And then the problem is inefficient service ticket counters. What are the 2 suggestions? How do you, is that very important in the question mark? So higher self-serve solution 2. Remember, you have to add the advantage. So hire more station 1. So we have hire more service ticket machines. That's self-service ticket machines. They've got the pros and advantage and disadvantage, right? So advantage and disadvantage. So I hopefully got advantages, and we okay. So faster search, increase our cost, and set up self-service ticket machines. Convenient, several visitors. What's the disadvantage? Find it difficult to use them. Now, again, these are not disadvantage, is not on the end of the module. So if you have a look, I hope you guys have started looking at it. I'll put it up here. I know, oh, we have 1 minute. Great. Here it is. Your disadvantage anywhere. Add your own idea. Okay. And remember, these two are two different solutions too. But remember, so you're going to have to add your own idea. Go put this one back up now. So what they're saying they want you to do is present your ideas in the order. So this is one, this, which is the advantage. Then they want you to talk. So then they want you to talk about 2A, which is the advantage and advantage. Okay, so talk about all this first, then talk. Right, so think about this. Let me start over my sentences. And disadvantages are not like they are here. But how would you paragraph? How would you write your paragraph? Okay, I know it's continue for about the next, you the answer to this, and then I'm going to start all over again. I'm going to talk about them again. Okay, so how would you write this as a down here? Okay, so here visitors complain that counters was inefficient, and we can look at everything at the same time. Okay, I'll make it so hopefully you can see are like in point form and now paragraph form. Okay, so it says some visitors complained that it was inefficient because they're to improve the situation, it might more staff at the ticket counters. So here's the faster service, but increase our cost. Alternatively, so here comes self-service ticket machines. This is a convenient, can buy tickets at the same time. However, here's the disadvantage. Find it difficult to use the machine. So older people, machines or smartphones. All right, so yes, this does include it. I sent this document copy, which does not include the teacher copy. What paragraph is in there? I find a little bit odd. I believe that would be a little better. Say it is. I think it is. And the other choice, it is expected that. Their word we could use. Maybe we could say, with deemed that just sounds a bit odd to me because you're writing to you're not you're one person. But the sample answer. All right, so this extra practice, 132, 230. So I'll wait about 2 practice, but we're going to talk about them. You who have had enough, you can go. I'm going to talk about the same thing again. So if you're great, and if you want to, that's fine. But I'll start it. So we'll start. Oh, and those of you who remember to put your name, your student number. Well, yeah, your student number would have course you're in. So if you're blah blah blah, that's what I use for course. Sorry. In the chat. Okay. So for example, I was in the chat box. How I did it? Yeah. Please put your course for that. And so I've got all my classes. Okay, it's 2:30. We're here for the first hour. I'm repeating the same thing now. Focus on, and this is actually this paper here to you yesterday. The screen, if you look up here, and here on the actual 2 suggestions, I'm going to talk about. I need to sit down for a little bit. So, okay. Because this is a big part of it's really important that you talk about and please / alternatively, or you can or you can alternatively here, you can do not put also. If you say alternatively or would be to, that's because you're going to do one solution. Do not say and or also to do the 2 solutions, and that is the point. So please be okay. Let's begin. So and it's about talking about the okay. And I've highlighted this. Let me start my student copy. Highlighted in color. It's the student. Looks like this. Let me zoom out a bit. It looks like this. There's no answers here. So today to write the answers in the paragraph. That's what I really want to focus on, writing the 2 solutions. We need to kind of practice how to write. We get to the point where we're writing it. We're going to back up just a so let's back up paper, and it says, okay, this will help you kind of paragraph. Okay, you are have seen this before. Just maybe 10 minutes, 10 repeat, but then after, okay. So let's be building your sentences and then building your sentences. Right? It's not to make the sentence longer. So that is not to make a longer sentence does not mean you're going to get why the sentence is longer. It's so that you clear information and you remember you're going to have to add means is to add ideas. About this paper is they give you vocabulary words for the number. They're going to give adjectives and we can look at the end of module assignment. Let's see, where is it? So remember, when they give you, they always give you an adjective. Don't do that. Okay, they give you first. So that's what we're looking at right now. Starting off with, because the adjective has to do negative adjectives. If adjectives, it would not be inadequate. Super, not ample is an adjective. They might say a lack of noun because you've got the word of after it. Notice the word lack, and that's a verb because lack can be like a verb. So if you see a lack of, filthy, which means very dirty, is an adjective plus a noun. Bad is a noun. We've got slippery, Paul. We've got messy. Satisfactory is an adjective. Poor condition, so that's an adjective. Is the adjective. Quality and condition. Hygienic, which is the adjective. I put in that power I sent you about maybe 2 weeks ago. We've got adjective. Crowded, an adjective. You know that means this takes a lot of. And so about lack, we've got mistakes is not an adjective. Complicated. These are some possible words you might have adjectives because they are your problem. Right. Then we have to remember that in every situation, people who complained about something. So who are these? They could be members. So is about a club, the member. So if you belong to the engineering club, you are a member of that club. And so if we're talking about a school, maybe that's teachers, students, or if you can think like actresses or other job type in the modules. Residents are people who live residents of Hong Kong, or if you then you are a resident. Clients and customers are similar. People who work at a company, the people, colleagues, yes, hell. If people who are playing the people who, they are passengers. Or if you visit someplace, maybe you visit a museum, then join an activity. You're possible people who could come down. This is the part of the sentence and then build. What I have to say about this, students, is there are more ways than just step 1, step 2, and step 5. I think a lot of think, oh, this looks very easy, these different steps. But there are your sentences. If we go back, one of the sample practice, lots of practice papers, I show you that after this paper and after the sample, all these sentence patterns. So there are a lot of sentences and paragraphs. I think there's just one way. Okay, and this is actually called practice low yesterday. As I just told you that different ways to write the paragraph, but I have this, and because it seems so easy and to copy and paste that understandable. I understand why you sentence variety. I didn't do these all and follow all of these words except for maybe 2 paragraphs. Do all of this. This is your writing's going to sound a little. If you make D's or F's uncomfortable, very difficult for you, then paragraphs like this, it's okay. Longer, I would recommend not use paragraphs. Okay, please ask me. If you an email, that's fine. Okay, sentence and building the paragraph. Step, how can you do that? Well, regarding as for concerning, after you use these words, your space, the tennis coach, the quality of the environment. A noun phrase, we talked about this in class. Say the problem, the noun phrase. All of these require a then. That's step 1. So you want to say who, and we just talked about all these people, the people who complained. So when it says who complained, after the group of people, see residents here, members, colleagues, customers, reported speech, which means you're going to use a word like reflected or pointed out. You're going to need the word that. So you just here. Okay, so let's say who complained and use. You have the word that. That means you have a that, and then you're going to have a maybe an object, subject and verb. Okay. Step 2. Step 3. So then step 2 is speech. Step 3 is more. Okay. So the parking spaces, comma, resident. Step 3. The parking areas are. Here's another one. Step 1, which is comma. Members reflected often not punctual and disrespect. Here we've got as for the quality of drink. That's step 2. Step 3. All right. So we've got a lot of them. Now remember that clause. You need at least a. So let's see. Am I in areas? That's our subject. You've got. Here, they is the subject, are is the verb. Okay, this is our subject and not acceptable to the clause. It is a verb and then object or clause, and same here. Subject is the verb, adjective, so it's like our object. That's step 3. You want to give more emphasis in bold and dark here. Step 4 you have, okay, because remember step 1 is who in the reported speech. Now the problem, step 4 is why. Why can be 2 things. Why can be a clause or adjective, or just a noun or noun phrase. Be careful about this step 4, because again, I have a feeling it's in step 1, 2, 3, 4, easy. Some of this is go back and you look at the end. They don't all Like if here is the end of module, I see the product and I see more information about them. I do not see any sort of reason or explanation. I would be very careful that we're talking about. Okay. For the paper, you can definitely do, but still give it to you. So again, an idea. If you're going to do this, more ideas with that, then you can skip. I say that, but you have to be careful. Module assignment, they do give you this. If they don't give you this information, include it. Okay, so I hope so for step 4, and again, the why can take, you can either write it subject verb or you can use a noun phrase. Is highlighted in yellow. If it's yo, then it's blue. Notice most of them are SVO. We get in here, and that is a noun phrase. When are you require SVO? So after step 3, we've got the word because, word as, we've got that. So since that. But this one's SVO, it's a noun phrase, as of. So that I want you to notice the difference between when you use the word as SV or SV because of, you can't have to have a noun or noun. Parking spaces, residents said that the park, because the parking lots are limited, tennis coaches, members reflected respectful to the members, sending as for the quality of drinks, acceptable as the drinks too sour, common colleagues complain that I'm smelling due to the fact the system is often down. If you are used to the phrase due, remember you've got that now too. They said due to the fact of this word that's after it. And then this one pointed out that it is poor, a lack of regular. Remember, if it's because you and all the rest of these with since require SVO. Or adding the why. If the paper don't need, then you don't give you this part, then you should include it. Students, we go back up to step 3, a full stop after a complete sentence. If you said about the parking areas are always full and crowded, that's enough information. If there is more, then you do need to include it. Let's go, we've talked about step 4. So we've talked about the who plus reported speech. Now we need to give the solution or the advantage. For Ivy, I think they call it benefit because it's easy to remember advantage. Where you need to add the advantage required part of the assessment assignment. It's not optional. Don't include the advantages if you don't expect a very good grade because it's an end module assignment. Here we have about the parking areas are always full and crowded because to solve the problem, it is suggests the solution explore another so that the residents would not. Okay, so here's the added benefit. For this one, regarding that they are often not punctual and just lack proper training, here's this advisable to invite human being here is 2 coaches to teach them serving members by teachers can maintain a better relationship or advantage or benefit. Drinks, students reported that the taste too sour to rectify this to sell canned drinks. In order to sell canned drinks is the standard in order to stand the taste of different people is the that's the solution. Not the solution, I'm sorry, that's the advantage. So remember step 5 would be just your idea, the advantage. Okay, now what talks so much about this one? This forward slash and the question. That forward slash and question mark you talked about very quickly at the beginning. Remember, you're going to have solution disadvantage of solution 1. You've got disadvantage of solution 2. Advantages not on the idea. So it says in this one, environment. So what they're doing is they're this last to the environment. Environment, comma, customers pointed out it is poor. Step 3. Step 4 be taken to solve the problem. There's to offer a lobby, all right? There's the solution. Hygiene can be maintained. Yet, this would increase the range. Another solution 2, to remind that solution 2, involve a lot of money. However, the effectiveness disadvantage. The word involve here. This solution, if something, then you're saying requires something. And if something, then that's so when you see the word involve, but if it does make a lot of money, then that's not required. And since time is not required, that would be an advantage used. So here we use not involve. So just remember, you can use that with involve something or it does require to for the distance. Sometimes you can use involve require. Sometimes you can these words are not what you can't always use or saying with this one you can't. So just be careful. Depending on the information they give you to decide which word is best to be able to use both, but sometimes that's kind of a way of, and just remember students, questionable. If then on the assignment, then you use it, then don't use step. Adding the is required. This is an idea and discuss advantage when you talk about the 2 requirement. You have to add the. All right, so now that we've talked paragraph, other paper that I started this off with, this one is, yeah, this is the student one. Let me put the second student. Sorry about that. Okay, we're ready to talk about this. Because now, right, so the first one is the problem. More information, peak season. All right, now we've got the 2 solutions. You want to find / so before the first one is solution 2 and then question mark. Solution 1, open window, just air purifiers, the advantage and disadvantage. So it's just a disadvantage. Okay, again, this is a module assignment. It is not optional. Disadvantages, you will never. All right, so this looks like as a, okay, so it's air quality, comma, this would be step 1. That step satisfactory, especially in step 3. So notice this one doesn't require step 5. Solve the windows open. So that's the sort of keep windows open. So it'd be better. So it's the advantage. You added this. The clubhouse will, so we used however, the advantage and the disadvantage. The house will become noisy. Another solution would be to, so remember solution 2 is, so another solution would be to purchase air purifiers to ensure the air quality in the clubhouse. Okay, that's the advantage. Nevertheless, this would involve extra money for the purchase and installation of the purifiers. All right, so just remember, students, we talked about in the last class, nevertheless is kind of like however and although, but nevertheless you can only use with the disadvantage. So it says, nevertheless, this would involve extra money for the purchase and installation of the purifiers. And notice what word I used, involve. So just like we talked about earlier, this would involve. So if it's involve, you use it with the disadvantage. Now, why did I choose all these different colors for highlighting? You know me, I like lots of colors so that you can see all the different parts. But if you remember from our last class, when talking about the advantages and disadvantages in the paper I created for you, which should be, let's see, right here. Remember we did this in our last class. So we talked about solution 1 and solution 2. Remember you should use alternatively when you introduce or start talking about solution 2. Remember I put although, however, and but in red, and these words are used to talk about the relationship between advantages and disadvantages. And again, the advantages are highlighted in yellow and disadvantages are highlighted in green. So that's why I kept all the highlighting colors the same as we did in last class together. And the other step that we did was, remember in bold, this is bold. So when you see this little B here, that's bold. Can be used to introduce the advantage and disadvantage. So that's what we did in our last class. So I wanted to keep the same colors like we did in the last document. So that's why I did these in this document. Okay. Now, one thing, and I'm not sure if I talked about this with you guys, but I just want to tell you that because we're going to start talking about how to write these other ideas into paragraphs. We're going to talk about that in just a second. And we did the first one together as an example, so you can see how it's done. And we did talk about building a sentence and building a paragraph in this document right here. Let's see, where is it? This one, right? This is what we just spent the last maybe 10 minutes talking about. Is building a paragraph and building a sentence. And I said you don't want to do them all like this. And I also told you that sometimes you don't need step 4. It depends on if the end of module assignment gives you the information. If the end of module assignment gives you the information, then yes, you need to do step 4. If it doesn't give you the information, then you don't need to include it. Okay, and we talked about the solution, right? In step 5, we talked about the solution and the benefit or advantage of the solution. And they gave you some phrases here. Well, remember, I just want to remind you that we did talk about the solution, and it is in a document called Unit 8. Where is it? This one here. Okay, so this, if you look at the top of my screen here, it says EGWC Unit 8 SS. That's SS as students. This is a Unit 8 document, and that's the name of the document right here. And I've sent this to you, and this is on page 6. So remember, these are all different ways you can give the solution, okay? And if you, again, you can look at all the practice papers I gave you as well, because all the practice papers, most of the practice papers will use a lot of these phrases here, okay? So you can, again, you can look at Unit 8, page 6 to help you with sentence patterns for the solution. And then again, like I pointed out to you, you can look at all the practice papers I've given you. Let's see if I can find it. I hope this is it. You can look at all the practice papers and just look at the sentences in the paragraph. Or remember, I give you the different sentence patterns for each part of the paragraph for the problem, more information about the problem. for the solution. So remember, Unit 8 is about the solution, but on each practice paper, I also give you the sentence patterns for the advantage and the disadvantage. Again, so I just wanted to remind you of that, basically. Now let's go back to this paper we were working on. Not this one. It's this one. Okay, so with all that information, it says on this document, and again, it's the one's called Handling 2 Suggestions. It says, now you write about the 3 other problems. So they want you to practice writing about these 3 problems. The problem, more information about the problem, the 2 solutions, and remember, you must give the advantage and disadvantage of each. Okay, so it says, use the words although, however, or but to show the relationship between the advantage and the disadvantage. Remember, you can also use the word nevertheless, but you only use it with the disadvantage. It says, use phrases to introduce solution, provided on Unit 8, page 6, which I just showed you. And you can also use all the practice papers and sample answers given to you, which I just showed you. Remember to use the words alternatively, or you can also use the words on the other hand when introducing solution 2. Now, I will say in this practice right here, they actually didn't use alternatively or on the other hand. Instead, they said another solution would be 2. It's fine that you do this. If you do that, just notice the sentence pattern. Another solution would be 2, and then you need a verb after 2, because 2 plus the verb is infinitive. So that's why the verb does not have ing, ed, or s on it, because it has 2 in front of it. Okay, so if you're going to use this one, another solution would be 2. You need a verb to introduce solution 2, or you can use alternatively, or you can use on the other hand to introduce solution number 2. All right, so let's look at these. We've got slippery floor. That's the problem. More information about that. 2 accidents last month. Okay. Now we need the 2 solutions. So post warning signs or part-time cleaning staff. All right, so remember, we need to add ideas, advantage and disadvantage. So what's the advantage of this? If you post means like put up on the wall, warning signs. What's the advantage of this? If you're just going to put up warning signs, what does that even mean? Do you understand that? So remember, you could just go on your computer, type up some words on a computer and then print it out, and that's your sign, right? And then you can just put it up on the wall. So I would think the advantage would be that it's quite quick, right? It's a quick solution, doesn't take a lot of time, and it doesn't seem like it takes a lot of money. It's a very inexpensive solution, okay? That would be the advantage. What would be the disadvantage of this problem, of this solution though? If you just put signs up on the wall, what could be a possible disadvantage? All right. If you said that some people don't read the signs or they won't see the signs, some people just don't pay attention to what's on the wall or they don't read the signs, then you're right. I would say that that would be a disadvantage. Okay, now let's go to the next one, part-time cleaning staff. Okay, so remember, we've got a slippery floor. The slippery floor means it's wet. People, you can fall. That's what happened last month. There were 2 accidents, so 2 people fell. So part-time cleaning staff is solution 2. What would be the advantage of having a part-time cleaning staff? I would say that the advantage is the floor is always going to be dry, right? It's going to be cleaned. Everything's going to be the way it should be because you've hired people to take care of the problem. What would be the disadvantage though? I would say the disadvantage is if you're going to have to hire more people, because staff is a group of people to work, you're going to have to hire them. So that's going to be more expensive. I would say that's the disadvantage. And just the hiring process, you have to, take applications, you have to look at people's CVs, you have to interview them. That takes a long time and it takes a lot of money. And you might have to train them, though I don't think a cleaning staff would require a lot of training, but you possibly. All right, so let's see what all of this looks like in a paragraph, okay? So we go down here, we've got the first one. So it says, our members reported that the floor of our clubhouse was slippery. In fact, there were 2 accidents last month. Okay, in response to the problem, so here's solution 1, we could post warning signs around the clubhouse. It is an immediate and inexpensive solution. Immediate means you can provide the solution or do the solution in a day or two, and it's done. So it's an immediate and inexpensive solution. That's the advantage, but not every member would pay attention to it, so that's the disadvantage. All right, alternatively, so here comes solution 2. We may consider hiring some part-time cleaning staff, or we may consider employing some part-time cleaning staff. So that's solution 2. What's the advantage? The floors will always be dry and clean. That's good, but it will increase our monthly expenses. So the monthly expenses is because you're going to have to pay for these people, right? You're going to have to pay them. So that's why it's monthly expenses. That's why it's the disadvantage. All right, the next one. Let's go on to the unhygienic condition in the coffee shop. So that's the problem. We have an unhygienic condition in the coffee shop. Wait 1 second, students. Okay. Let's see if this works. Sorry, students, I'm having a problem with the mouse, and it's really making me not happy. Okay, so here we go. We've got unhygienic condition in the coffee shop. That's the problem. Cockroach. Okay, this isn't working. Cockroaches were found. That's more information about the problem. Okay, so what are our 2 solutions? We need a verb here. They don't give us a verb. They just give us the words insect killing spray. So we need to add a verb. Maybe we can use the word use insect killing spray, purchase some insect killing spray. All right, then solution 2, intensive cleaning of the coffee shop. So again, they don't give us a verb. So when we make this a sentence, we need to add a verb. And intensive cleaning, that means a lot, not just like, light cleaning. This is like big major cleaning. So this could take all day or something. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of this? Okay. I would say with insect killing spray, again, seems like a pretty quick solution. You could just spray it around the coffee shop. You could probably do that in an hour or 2, or you're done. It may not be the most effective, though. It's probably pretty cheap, too. I would say that's inexpensive. So I would say inexpensive and quick would be the advantage. What would be the disadvantage of this? I would say, again, you might have to do it more often, because sometimes the killing spray isn't the most effective, like I said. So maybe you'll have to do it every other day or something. Also, think about the spray. What does that smell like? Think about the smell. And remember, you're at a coffee shop, and people like to hang out at a coffee shop, right? Do you really want to sit at a coffee shop and drink coffee and then having this kind of strange smell? So that could be a disadvantage. All right, what about intensive cleaning of the coffee shop? If you understand what intensive cleaning means, what do you think could be the advantage and disadvantage? I would say for intensive cleaning, the advantage would be it'd probably do a better job. It'd probably really kill all the bugs. But then again, usually when you have some sort of intensive cleaning or something, usually you have to close the coffee shop, or maybe if it's in an office, you would have to close the office, or if you have people working in the office, they would have to go and work in a different room while the intensive cleaning is going on. All right, so let's see what they wrote here for this. How did they turn all of this into a paragraph? Okay, so we've got, also, it has been found that the condition in the coffee shop was unhygienic as cockroaches were found. To improve the situation, it is suggested that we use insect killing spray after business hours. So that's solution 1. If you want to include the words after business hours, you can, but you don't have to. It is a cost-effective solution, all right? So that's the advantage. But the spray may leave a strange smell, or the spray may leave an unpleasant smell in the shop. So that's the disadvantage. On the other hand, so here's solution 2, we could carry out intensive cleaning of the coffee shop. So notice they use the word carry out as the verb with this one. carry out, okay? Intensive cleaning of the coffee shop. Then it says, although, so they gave us the disadvantage first, although we may need to close down the shop for one day, comma, this solution can make sure the environment is hygienic. So that's the advantage, okay? All right, and I just said that carry out was the verb they used here, carry out intensive cleaning. What did they use here for this one? It is suggested that we use, so right, so they added the verb use with insect killing spray. And I'm just talking about the verbs a little bit because you will notice that they did not give you the verbs here or here. So remember, when you're doing the end of module assignment, you need to ask yourself, did they give you the verb with the solution? So let's look really quick. And I'm not going to say yes or no, but I just want to make you think about it since we're here together right now. Look over here at the solutions. Did they give you verbs? Is there a verb here? Obviously, there's no verb here because they didn't even give you the solution. Remember, you have to add your idea. Same here. They didn't give you a solution. You have to add your own solution. And remember, you have to add the advantages of all these. And for these, this is the one where you add the advantage and disadvantage. Did they give you, so here's solution 1. Did they give you the verb? Here's solution 2. Did they give you the verb? Okay, so think about that. Because remember, if they don't give you verbs, you need a verb because English is an SVO language and you need to have a verb in your sentence. All right, so let's go back to the next one. Okay, number 4, limited choices of fitness courses. So that's the problem, limited choices of fitness course. And then, for example, here's more information, only 3 yoga classes per week. Notice I said per week. All right, so what are our solutions? We have solution 1 and we have solution 2. Okay, remember you have to give the advantage and disadvantage for solution 1 and 2. So that means you have to add your own ideas. All right, so again, notice they didn't give you a verb here, so you have to decide what this means. And we talked about this in week 7 or week 8 about what these different things can mean. So you know the up arrow is kind of like increase, enhance, add, something like that. So I would say increase the variety of fitness courses. All right, so what is the advantage of increasing the variety of fitness courses? So remember, they're only offering yoga. It's only 3 times a week. So maybe we could have some fitness dance classes, or maybe we could have some group weightlifting classes, something like that. What would be the advantage of that? I would say that, if there's more variety, the customers will be happier, the members will be happier, because if you have some people who don't like yoga, then they're not going to go to the yoga classes. So if you have more different choices, you can make more people happy, satisfy the customer better. What would be the disadvantage, though? Anybody? Remember, this is a course, a fitness course. So, or just like class, we have English class right now, or when you take some of your engineering classes. When you take a course or a class, it usually requires a teacher, right? So that means if you're going to have more classes, you're going to have more teachers. So you're going to have to find more teachers and hire them, right? So that could be a disadvantage. All right, what about survey with members? Now, survey, be careful, students. You can use this as a verb and you can use this as a noun. It depends. So what would be the advantage of survey with members? Remember, survey is like questionnaire if we're using it like a noun. Well, if you ask them if you give them a survey or ask them a questionnaire, give them a questionnaire, you know what they want, right? Because you're asking for their opinion, so you can know what they want. So this way, it will make it very easy for the club to give the customers exactly what they want. But what would be the disadvantage of this? I would say, first you have to write the survey. You need to create the survey. Then you need to give the survey to people. Then you have to hope that they answer the questions and give it back to you. Then you have to analyze the survey, and look at all their answers and, make a decision on what you want to do. So this, I would say, this would take some more preparation and this would take some time. Okay, that's my opinion. Let's see how they have put this into a paragraph. Okay, so we've got this one. It says, finally, some members reflected that our fitness courses were limited. There were only 3 yoga classes every week. To improve the situation, it might be a good idea to provide a greater variety of fitness courses such as, and if you wanted to add your own idea here about some different fitness courses, you could. It can meet the needs of the different members, all right? That's the advantage. But we will need to hire extra instructors in a short time. That's the disadvantage of solution 1. All right, alternatively, here's solution 2. It is suggested we carry out a survey with members, okay? Again, they use the verb carry out with survey. So they use survey like a noun here. And what did they use here for this one? Provide. Provide was the verb they added here. Provide a greater variety. Here they use carry out verb. Carry out a survey with members. The advantage to find out their preferences. However, here's the disadvantage. This takes time and involves a lot of preparation work. So remember, we used this phrase last week. If something takes time or takes a lot of money, you use that with a disadvantage. Or if it involves a lot of time or involves a lot of money or involves a lot of preparation work or involves a lot of training or something, remember we can use the word involve with disadvantage. Okay, we've got that. So we've talked about different ways and how to build up your paragraph when talking about the two solutions, okay? So now we're going to, when you talk about the two solutions, remember students, this is so important. You have to add your own ideas. You have to add the advantage and disadvantage when you're talking about the two solutions. Now, some of you might be thinking, you're like, well, do I have to add the disadvantages to all of them? No, you don't have to add the disadvantage to all the solutions, only when you see the one with two solutions. So when you see the problem on the paper with the two solutions, that's when you have to add the advantage and disadvantage. And I sent you a PowerPoint about this like a week and a half ago, and then we used it in our class last week as a review. So look at the PowerPoints I sent you. But just to remind you, when you see the / and the question mark, that's when you have to include the advantage and disadvantage for solution 1 and solution 2. All the other solutions, you only need to include the advantage, okay? All right, so now that we've talked about building up your sentences in your paragraph, there's another paper we're going to use called Useful Expressions. And I sent this one to you yesterday. Students, I'm going to, because the extra practices are only for an hour, I will take this document, and at the top, notice the name of the document is 04, Useful Expressions. And this is the teacher copy. This is one with the answers. You also have this. I sent you both the student copy and the teacher copy, because the teacher copy is the one with the answers. I think I'm going to change it a little bit. It's an okay document, but you will notice that we've got these 4 boxes here. So I feel that when they show you this, when you see this, you think, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're going to think, okay, this is 1, so you're going to think this goes with this, and you're going to think this is 2, so you're going to think this goes with this, and this is 3, so you're going to think this goes with this, and so forth, right? This is 4, so you think this is going to go with this. But that's not really the case. This, notice it says problem and situation. So really, these two should be in a box together. These two, if you look at the next page, they put together, so 2, 3. You're putting these together in the same sentence. So I think there's a better, clearer way to present this information, because I think you're going to think that this goes with this goes with this, and this goes with this. But it's not how it goes. And they use, I don't think we are easy to understand. But once you get over here, now it's easy to understand because they use the numbers, right? 2 and 3. So where did 2 and 3 come from? 2 and 3 came from here, so 2 and 3. So here we have, in response to the problem, it may be a good idea too. So you can see that too. In response to this problem, it might be a good idea too. So that's where they got that part. But it's this up here that I have a problem with, because students are going to think, I have a feeling students are going to think these go together, and they kind of do, but they made it in a confusing way. And that's just my opinion. But you do have the student copy. The student copy, again, like I said, does not have the answer, but the teacher copy does. So actually all of this in the box and this go together. This is all one paragraph. So for example, first of all, our staff members pointed out that we did not have adequate manpower in the office. That's the problem. Some of them needed to work overtime for more than 2 days every week. That's the more information about the problem. Now you need to give the solution. So in response to the problem, it may be a good idea to, here's the solution, hire more part-time staff to share the workload, or employ more part-time staff to share the workload. right? And then remember, after the solution, you need to add the advantage, and the advantage is not on the assignment, the end of module assignment. You have to add your idea. Now, I say advantage, they say benefit, but it's the same thing. So it is hoped that, and so here comes the advantage. It is hoped that we can effectively solve the manpower problem, or you can say it is hoped that we can reduce the overtime work hours, or we can minimize the overtime work hours of our staff. Okay, so all of this together, this plus this would be all one paragraph for the problem. You have the problem, you say the more information about the problem, give the solution, and then say the advantage or benefit of that solution. Okay, I will, like I said, we only have about 5 or 6 minutes left, so I'll make a video for this one. But what I'd like to do is I'd like to go down here to this last part, and we're going to talk about this. Don't look at that yet, please. Okay. I'm going to put it on another page so that way you don't see it necessarily. All right, what we're going to do is, now, this is the one where there are two, remember there's 2 solutions. So this one you have not seen before because this one comes from the HT study package. HT stands for Hotel and Tourism. And you guys aren't Hotel and Tourism. You guys are engineering students. So that's why you haven't seen this. All right. But again, here's the problem. Inefficient service at admission ticket counters. And then the more information is long queue. Okay. Then the suggestion or solution 1, hire more staff. Okay. They were nice. They actually gave you a verb, hire. And then we've got the / and the question mark, so we know there's 2 solutions. Solution 2, self-service ticket machines. Notice with this one, they did not give you a verb. All right, so what they did, they took hire more staff and self-service ticket machines, and they put them right here. So here's solution 1, hire more staff. Solution 2, set up self-service ticket machines. Okay, great. Then in the box over here, they gave you the advantage or the pro, or the disadvantage or the con. Okay, so the advantage for hire more staff, they're helping you out here. They said it'll be faster service. That's the advantage of hiring more staff. What's the disadvantage? It will increase the cost of manpower. Okay, then for solution 2, set up self-service ticket machines. The advantage would be convenient. Several visitors can buy tickets at the same time. Remember, students, this is point form, so you might need to add some words. The disadvantage is some visitors find it difficult to use the machine. All right, so what they want you to do is they want you to write a paragraph and put the order of ideas like this. So 1, 1A, 1B, then 2, 2A, 2B. So what that means is first you're going to talk about the solution, then you're going to say 1A, the advantage, then 1B, the disadvantage. Then you're going to talk about solution 2, then give the advantage of solution 2, then talk about the disadvantage of solution 2. So they've again, this is just a practice exercise. Remember, for the end of module assignment, they're not going to give you the advantages and disadvantages. You have to add your own ideas. But for this practice exercise, how would you put all of these ideas into a paragraph? What would you write? Think about all the phrases. Remember, first you want to say the solution. Remember, you can use document Unit 8, page 6. You can use all the practice sample answers I've given you or the documents I've sent to you yesterday that we've talked about today. So you can say, I would like to suggest we could, or you could put this first in your sentence. You could say hiring more staff would be an effective solution, something like that. Then you want to give the advantage and the disadvantage. So remember, you're going to use words like although, but, however, or if you want to just use nevertheless with the disadvantage, you can use that. Then remember, you're going to talk about solution 2. Remember, which word do I want you to use when you talk about solution 2? The word I think that is best, in my opinion, starts with an A. Alternatively, right? So you can say, alternatively, we could set up self-service ticket machines. Then you're going to want to give the advantage and disadvantage. So how would you put these two? You can put them together in one sentence, or you can put them in separate sentences. How would you do that? All right, let's look at the possible. There's one possible way. There are many, 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 many ways to write this paragraph that they provided. Now I'm putting this all together on the screen because I kind of want you, I would like you to see, if I do this though, I think this is too, yeah, this is too small. Let me see if I can do something really quick. That way you can see everything. Does that help? Yeah, it does, okay. Let's see if I put this out much. Yeah, that helps too. Okay, that way we can get everything on the screen. Hopefully it's not too small. So here's what you would see on the practice paper. Here's how the practice paper is trying to suggest to help you write the sentence, the paragraph. So here we have the paragraph. Students, I'm not the one who highlighted this. The person who made this document, I did not make this document, highlighted this. So I don't know why some things are highlighted the colors they are. Okay, so here we go. Some visitors complained that the service at the admission ticket counters was inefficient. That's the problem, because there were long queues. That's more information about the problem. To improve the situation, it might be a good idea to hire more staff at the ticket counters. Okay, that's solution one. It is hoped that we can provide a faster service advantage. So that's 1A, right? All of this is 1A, faster service. Now we're going to talk about the disadvantage, 1B. This will increase our cost on manpower. Okay, then we're going to talk about solution 2. So alternatively, we could set up self-service ticket machines. So that's from right here. Okay, we believe that this is a convenient measure, okay, as several visitors can buy tickets at the same time. So notice this thought is 2A right here. So that's the advantage. Then it says, however, some visitors might find it difficult to use machines, especially the elderly. So that's, notice this is thought to be the disadvantage, okay? The only thing, students, also I kind of find odd about this, it says we believe that, but you're the only one writing this. You're kind of like writing a report in an email to your boss. So why is it we? Because if it's you, it would be one person, so it would be I. I could see you saying it is believed that, kind of like it is hoped that. You could say it is believed that, but why they use we, I'm not sure. So I'm going to ask somebody about that because to me that sounds strange. All right, so I might make some changes to this paper, and if I do, I will send you an update, and I will make a video about this a little more because we didn't talk about this, but like I said, the reason why I didn't talk about the beginning part of this paper so much, I do feel it's a little confusing, so I do want to make some changes. All right, but students, so the focus of this extra practice really was building up a sentence and building up your paragraph, especially building up that paragraph when you talk about the two different solutions, okay? So I hope you found that helpful. I do have another practice. I'm going to start at 3:35, my next practice. The next practice at 3:35 is the same thing. I'm going to talk about the same thing and use all the same documents. So if you want to stick around and listen to it again, you can. But if you want to go, that's fine. The practice on Wednesday will be the same as this one. Okay, we'll talk about the same things and use the same documents. There was a practice paper I sent you guys. What was I believe Friday I sent you the practice paper. And I will send you the answer to that Wednesday or Thursday because I'm waiting. I want, if anybody does send me their answer, I don't want to send the answer out before other students send me the answer. So I'll send the answer either probably Thursday morning. Okay, so there is that. I hope you found that helpful. Good luck. And of course, if you have any questions, you can ask me now or you can send me an email. Do what you need to do. But yeah, definitely, if you have any questions, definitely ask me. Okay, so thank you guys, and you are free to go if you need to go. If you want to stick around, that's fine too. All right, students, if you're now just joining, we'll start at 3:45. Or sorry, 3:35. So we'll start in a minute or two. Actually, I'm going to take a really quick break. Okay, so I'm going to take a quick break, students, and I'll be right back, okay? Okay. Okay, students, welcome. Hello. I needed a little break really quick in between my extra practice sessions. Thank you. I noticed a lot of you are putting your names in here. But when you can you also not just put your name, but can you also please put your course? So e.g. 114, blah, blah, blah. So for example, if you check out the chat box, I'm doing this just as an example. Okay, so if you look at the chat box, I've put my course number and the course code and course number because, you know, all my different students are joining from different courses. So I don't really, I mean, if you want to put your student number, that's great. But what I really need is your course code. Yeah, thank you for that because I've got students from all other courses joining. So NC01, NC02 isn't enough. I need the EG11, blah, 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 please. All right, so let's begin. Today I want to focus on this document here. We've been talking about the two solutions. Okay, so yeah, this one. The one I sent you yesterday is not so colorful. The one I sent you yesterday is the student version. Mine is the teacher version. You'll notice here, if you notice at the top, it says evaluating to exhaustion T. The T means teacher. So you don't have this one yet because I wanted to use it in the extra practice this week. So mine's way more colorful. So I've highlighted the different parts. And so we are going to talk about how to write this paragraph. But before we start talking about how to write this paragraph, the two solutions, because remember, when you see the forward slash and the question mark, you've got two solutions. I just want to talk about different ways to write a sentence and build up your sentence and build a paragraph. So we're going to start with that document first and then come back to this one, because writing the two solutions is really important. All right, so I'm going to start off actually with this this document that I sent you yesterday, and it's called Building Your Sentence. So it looks like this, okay? And again, I highlighted some things. Now this is, I highlighted, you have this part that's highlighted. I'm trying to think if I changed anything. I added this today, so I might resend this. But anyway, all right, so you've got this document, and if you look at the top of my screen, it says 03, Building Your Sentences. And this is nice. It's a good, nice way to help you build your sentence and build a paragraph. Now, if any of you right now that are listening, if you are in my Tuesday afternoon class, we have talked about this before. So we'll talk about this document probably for about maybe 10 to 20 minutes, and then we'll move on to other stuff. So if you're in my Tuesday class, you've seen this bit, but we will get to new stuff. All right, so building your sentences. All right, so the target is not to make the sentence longer. So you're not just trying to write a longer sentence, because just because your sentence is longer does not mean you're going to get a higher mark. But the reason why you're building up the sentence is to include clearer information, so it's easier for the reader to understand the problem, and because it includes more logical elaboration. Elaboration means to add more details or to add more ideas. And you do need to definitely add some more ideas in your paragraphs, because remember, you need to add the advantage and disadvantage. There is an area where you may or may not need to add more information, and that's step 4. So when we get to step 4, we'll talk about that. Okay, so let's go. So the first thing that they start at the top of the paper is they say possible vocabulary for problems. Now remember, we're talking about problems. Problems is not a good thing, it's a negative thing. So that's why you will notice that all these vocabulary words are negative vocabulary words. They're bad things because they are used to give more information about the problem. And just remember, most of these are adjectives. Remember, there's usually negative adjectives given right before the problem. It's part of the problem, but the adjective comes first on the all the practice papers and even on the end of module assignment. So if we take a look at the end of module assignment, you'll see what I'm talking about. So remember, over here is the problem. So we've got unclear, we've got inconvenient, disappointing, and unprofessional. So those are all negative adjectives. So that's why we're kind of going over this first, is possible vocabulary for the problems. So we've got inadequate, which is an adjective, not ample, which is an adjective, a lack of, which is a noun. Lack of, be careful, because you've got the word lack, which can also be used as a verb. How do you know it's a noun? You've got the word a in front of it, and you've got the word of after it. So this is a common thing we say. It's a lack of, a lack of supplies, a lack of face masks, a lack of pencils. So we use this, and then we'll follow it with noun. Now, lack is a verb, so be careful how you use these, okay? All right, then we've got filthy, which means really dirty. It's an adjective. Bad attitude, so we've got bad as our adjective, attitude is our noun. We've got slippery, which means something's wet and it's easy to fall. That's an adjective. We've got messy, also an adjective. Not enough, adjective. Unsatisfactory, again, another adjective. We've got poor quality, or we've got poor condition. So that's an adjective plus a noun, because poor is the adjective, quality and condition is a noun. We've got unhygienic, that's the adjective, so not clean. We've got disorganized, we've got crowded, we've got expensive or costly. These are adjectives to talk about money, so something that costs a lot or requires a lot of money. Insufficient is an adjective, it means not enough. Again, here's that verb lack that we talked about. Dirty, impolite. Mistakes is a noun, not an adjective. And then we have more adjectives: polluted and complicated. All right, so this is one part of the end of module assignment. You're going to see that those adjectives before the noun phrase, which is the problem. The other thing you're going to see is possible respondents. The respondents, remember, respondent is someone who responded. So basically someone who complained. So who did the complaining? For each practice paper and for the end of module assignment, there's a group of people that complained, because remember, there's a problem. People are not happy with something. So who are the people that are not happy? The people who are not happy are the people who complained. So we have some possible different groups of people here that you might see. If you belong to a gym, like a fitness gym, then you are a member. Or maybe if you belong to a club, kind of like the engineering society or something, you are a member of that club or society. Or maybe it's students. So if we're talking about a school, maybe the students complained. Or if we're talking about school, maybe the teachers complained. Or if we're talking about a hospital, the doctors or nurses complained. So it might be some sort of job title, which might be the group of people who complained. Maybe it's residents. So if people live somewhere, they are the residents. If you live at ABC Estate, then you are a resident at ABC Estate. Maybe it's the clients or customers of a company that complained, or the staff. The staff are like the employees, or the colleagues. The colleagues are the people you work with. If we're talking about a hotel, the people who stay at a hotel are the guests. Maybe they complained. If we're talking about an airplane, the people who pay money to fly, or who buy the ticket, they are passengers. Maybe they complained. Or people who visit someplace. If you visit someplace, you're a visitor, such as if you go to a park, if you visit a park, or if you visit Ocean Park or Disneyland, or if you visit a museum, or you visit the library, you're a visitor. So they may be complained. Or a participant. A participant is someone who participated in an activity. Maybe they complained. All right, so we've talked about the negative adjectives that are used to explain or give more information about the problem, to describe the problem. We've talked about the possible groups of people that could complain that you could possibly see on the end of module assignment. Now we're going to put all this together, okay? So this is where we're going to really start building the sentence and building the paragraph. So step one is the problem, because remember, in your paragraph, you want to talk about the problem first. Now, there are many, 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 many ways to write a sentence, okay? So this document is just providing one way of writing a sentence, okay? That there are many sentence patterns. And you can see that these are not the only sentence patterns with this step one, step two. Oops, no. The step one, step two, step three stuff. Yes, this is one way to write your sentences, but remember, I've also given you tons of other sentence patterns. So say, for example, where is that document that I sent to you? Like this sentence, this practice paper, I sent this practice paper to you yesterday. This was a new practice paper and answer. Here's the new practice. It's about low staff satisfaction. Here's the paper. Here's the sample answer. And then, like with all the other practice papers, I gave you the sentence patterns on how to write the problem, more reason or details about the problem, the solution, the advantage and the disadvantage. And I even gave you some vocabulary, and there was some grammar in here. So my point is, there's lots of ways to write about the different parts of the paragraph, okay? I've given you lots of sentence patterns. This is the document that we're looking at now is just one possible way, okay? All right, so let's go back anyway and talk about this. So we've got step one, you want to say the problem. You can start your paragraph and your sentence with about, regarding, as for, concerning, in terms of, and then after that, you're going to say problem, okay? And this is a noun phrase, okay? So no verbs in here, and we've talked about noun phrase before in class. So after this word, after these words in dark, you're going to say the problem, and then it needs to be followed by a comma, because there's really no subject or verb here. So you're going to need a comma, okay? So that's step one, say the problem. Then step two, after you say the problem, step two is you want to say who in reported speech. This means you want to say who complained. Remember, we talked about all these people that could complain. So you're going to use one of these kinds of words in step two, such as resident, member, student, colleague, or customer. Then you're going to use reported speech. What is reported speech? That's when you use words like said, reflected, reported, complained, or pointed out. But you need something else. You need the word that. So you can see all of these have the word that after them. Said that, reflected that, reported that, complained that, pointed out that. Okay? That's step two. The people who complained and then reported speech. So here and here and all here. Okay, now, because you have the word that after all of these words, you've got a that clause. What is a that clause? That clause is a group of words that starts with the word that, and you're going to need SV and maybe O, okay? But you definitely need a subject and a verb. So that means in step three, after this word that, in step three, you're going to definitely need S and V, maybe O, okay? So let's look at this. So step three is more information about the problem. So remember, step one is you say the problem. Step 2 is you say who complained, the people, use reported speech, and then step 3 is more information about the problem. So here we go. About the parking spaces, that's step 1. Residents said that, that's step 2. The parking areas are always full and crowded, that's step 3, more information about the problem. Let's do one more. Regarding the tennis coaches, comma, that is step 1. Okay, introduce the problem. Members reflected that. That is step 2. You've got the people and you've got reported speech. Then it says they are often not punctual and disrespectful to the members. That is step 3, more information about the problem. Now remember, I said because in step 2, you've got reported speech, so you've got this word that in all of these. And remember, that requires SVO. Then that means in step 3, the words after the word that need to have SVO. So we've got the parking areas is our subject, are is our verb, and then this always full and crowded is the object of the clause, whatever you want to call it. All right, then here, they is our subject, are is our verb, and then we've got often not punctual and disrespectful to members. That is the O, or the clause. It can be an object or a clause. Okay, it could also maybe be an adjective, but we'll just call it O for now. All right, then we have the taste. That's the subject. Are is our verb. Not acceptable is the object. Really, it's an adjective here. All right. It is our subject. Is our verb. Too stuffy and sometimes smelly is the O. All right. Then we have it. Subject is verb. Poor is the object or clause, or here it's an adjective. Okay. So that's step 3. So problem step 1. Who plus reported speech is step 2. More information about the problem is step 3. All right. Now, on the end of module assignment paper that you have for 60%, it will always give you this. Now, for step 4, it may or may not give you this. If it includes this on the paper, you need to include it on your writing paper, on your answer. If they don't give you step 4, then don't worry about it. Okay, so it says after the problem and after the who and the reported speech, then there should be more information about the problem. Then, again, if they include the why, then you need to include the why. And the why can be talked about in 2 ways. The why can be given as a subject and verb, or object, clause, adjective in your sentence, or the why can be written in your sentence as a noun or noun phrase. It depends on how you write the rest of the sentence, okay? Notice if it's going to be subject, verb, object, then I've highlighted it blue, green, gray. If it's just a noun or noun phrase, I've highlighted it in yellow. So there's only one example where we've got a noun phrase, which is down here in yellow. All the other ones, you will notice the first 3 are 3 are following the subject, verb, object pattern, okay? Okay, so it says about the parking spaces, comma, that's part 1. Residents said that residents said, that's part 2. The residents said that, that's part 2. The parking areas are always full and crowded, that's step 3. All right, now here's step 4. Because the parking lots are limited, okay? It says regarding the tennis coaches, members reflected that they are often not punctual and disrespectful to members, step 4, since they lack proper training, okay? As for the quality of drinks, that's step 1. Students reported that, that's step 2. The taste are not acceptable, that's step 3. As the drinks sometimes taste too sour, that's step 4. All right, and then we've got concerning the conditions of the changing rooms, comma, colleagues complained that, that's step 2. It is too stuffy and sometimes smelly, that's step 3, due to the fact that the ventilation system is often down or often not working, that's step 4. Then for the last one, in terms of the environment, comma, that's step 1. Customers pointed out that, that's step 2. It is poor, step 3, and step 4, because of a lack of regular cleaning. Okay, so what's the difference? Why is this one a noun phrase and why is everybody else SVO? The reason why I did this is because I wanted you to notice the difference between because and because of. If you're using the word because needs to be followed with SV and maybe O. If you have because of that little word of, now that you have because of, you cannot have a verb. You need a noun phrase if you're going to use because of. So that's the difference here, okay? So that's why I put because in red and because of in red, because A lot of students, I think, get mixed up when to use because and because of. Like, what's the difference? The difference is this. If you're going to use because, you need SVO. You use because of, it's a noun phrase. You'll notice that all these other words also need SVO. So we've got because here. Here we've got the word since. So if you use since, you need SVO. If you use the word as, you're going to need SVO. And if you're going to use the word that, remember we talked about that clauses. If you have the word that, then you're going to need SVO. So notice here the phrase is due to the fact that. If you just said due to is very similar to because of. So if it's just due to, just these two little words, then you would need a noun phrase. But because you have this longer phrase, due to the fact that, and you've got the word that, now you need SVO, okay? So that's how you can, these are different examples and sentence ways of talking about why, talking about why using SVO or just using a noun phrase. Now, again, I have a feeling that, this is my thought, I could be wrong, but I have a feeling that because this document makes it look very simple, students are like, okay, I'm going to say the problem first. That's step 1. And then this is step 2. And I'm just going to copy some of these phrases. And then step 3. And then, oh, they're like, okay, I can do this. Then you're going to get to step 4. And you're going to be why. So then you're going to go look at the end of module assignment. And you're going to be looking for the why information. And where is it? It might be there. It might not. If it's not there, you do not have to add it. Okay, so be careful of step 4. Honestly, in my opinion, I think you're really just going to be able to do step 1, 2, 3. So I say that if this information is provided or given to you on the end of module assignment, it needs to go on there. If they don't give it to you, then you don't need to include it. The things on the information that is not given to you on the assignment is the advantage and the disadvantage. It is not on the end of module assignment, and you must add this. This is not optional. You have to add this. And I am just going to repeat myself. You have to add this, you have to add this, you have to add this. And I'm saying it like that because some students think this part is optional when you add the advantage or disadvantage. It is not. You have to add these ideas. They are not on the paper and you must add them. I know maybe I sound a little crazy, but it's important because students forget this and it just lowers their mark, and you don't want to fail students. I hope you don't want to fail. All right, so there's that. So when you have to add the advantage and disadvantage. It's not on the paper, you have to add it. But this step 4, if it's not on the paper, you don't have to add it. If it is given to you on the paper, you need to add it. Okay, I hope I have not confused you. If I have, stop me now, ask me a question, or send me an email later and ask me a question then, but ask me if you're confused, okay? All right, so that's step 4, providing the why. And again, if it's on the paper, include it. If it's not on the paper, don't worry about it. All right, so now after we've done all that, we've got step 1, we've got step 2, we've got step 3. Maybe if the paper includes why, you include it. If not, don't worry about it. Then this brings us to the next step where, and this you have to do, you need to include the solution, and then you need to include the benefit of the solution. Now, the paper that I sent you, I think, just says the word benefit. So I added the word advantage because in all my classes, I teach you the word advantage. So remember, this is where you have to add this idea. This is not on the end of module assignment paper. You have to add it. They give you the solution. This is on the paper, and you need to write it. You need to explain the advantage or benefit of the solution, and this is not on the paper. It's an added idea that you must add. Okay. So what does all this look like? Now we've built up our whole entire paragraph now. So it says about the parking spaces, that's the problem. Residents said that's step 2, the people who complained and reported speech. The parking areas are always full and crowded. That's step 3, more information about the problem. Because the parking lots are limited. This is step 4, the why. To solve this problem, it is suggested that we explore another site. Okay, this is the solution. To accommodate more parking slots so that residents would not have to wait for the parking. That is the added idea. This is the benefit. This is the advantage. This is the idea you must add. Okay, the next one says regarding the tennis coaches, members claim that they are often not punctual and disrespectful to the members since they lack proper training. It is advisable to invite human resources department. So all of this is the solution. Step 5. To organize a training workshop for the coaches to teach them proper deeds when they when serving members. By doing so, members and the coaches can maintain a better relationship. They've actually given you 2 benefits or 2 advantages here. You could just stop right here. That would be enough, but they've added a lot of ideas here. All of this is an added idea, so they've added 2. If you want to add 2 ideas, great, but you don't have to. Adding 1 idea is enough for the advantage or benefit. Okay, as for the quality of drinks, students reported that the tastes are not acceptable as the drinks sometimes taste too sour. To rectify the situation, it would be a good idea to sell canned drinks. Okay, that's the solution, in order to standardize the quality of drinks, which can fit the taste of different people as well. And so this, again, this is the benefit or the advantage. All right, now let's go to this one here. Students, I don't think you've seen this one. I think this must have come from a different course. You guys are engineering. I have a feeling this came from like maybe for business students or hotel and tourism students. But the problem is poor environment, and it says lack regular cleaning. That's more information. Then here are the 2 solutions. Now, how do you know there are 2 solutions? Remember, when you see that / and question mark, you know there are 2 solutions. So you're going to have to talk about solution 1 and solution 2. And remember, when you do that, when you talk about solution 1, you must give the advantage and disadvantage. And when you talk about solution 2, you must add your idea and give the advantage and disadvantage. This is a requirement of the end of module assignment. So the one that they're going to talk about is in terms of the environment. In terms of the environment. So remember, we've been talking about that one here. In terms of the environment. So now we're going to see the whole paragraph. So it says, in terms of the environment, comma, customers pointed out that, that's step 2, it is poor, step 3, because of a lack of regular cleaning. That's step 4. Okay. Immediate action should be taken to solve the problem. We suggest asking janitors to offer regular cleaning to the lobby. That's the solution, so that the hygiene can be maintained. That's part of step 5 as well. That's the advantage. Yet this would increase their workload. That's the disadvantage. Another solution would be to remind customers to keep the place clean. This is the solution, solution 2. This solution would not involve a lot of money. That's the advantage. However, the effectiveness may not be significant. That's the disadvantage. All right, so then I added this little word here that's highlighted, this little highlighted part. Why did I do that? Because you'll notice right here, it says this solution would not involve a lot of money. So I want to talk to you really quickly. Now, we did this a little bit in our last class last week, but I'm going to talk about it again. With the word involve, involve is similar to the word require. Now, I use the equal sign because I can't find the other sign in here, but I would not say they are not 100% the same, but they are very similar in English. But involve is like the word require. So when would you use this word? When you're talking about the disadvantage, okay? This will involve a lot of money. This will require a lot of money. This will involve hiring more people. This will require hiring a lot of people. Those are negative things. If you have to hire more people, if you have to spend more money, that's a disadvantage. So you can use the word involve or require when you're talking about the disadvantage. If you want to talk about the advantage, then you can say not involve, because now you're not requiring something. So if it does not require a lot of money, that's a good thing. So that's why you can use this word with the advantage. But because this one is involve a lot of money, that's the disadvantage. If it said it does not involve a lot of money, like this one does. This one does not involve a lot of money. That's the advantage. If you said it does, this solution involves a lot of money, then that would be the disadvantage. So I hope I didn't confuse you. And the reason why I'm spending a little bit of time talking about this is just when you do write your advantage or disadvantage and you have to put it into a sentence, I'm not saying always, but you might be able to use this word involve for the disadvantage or not involve for the advantage, okay? All right, so now we've talked about one way, these different steps you can use to help you build up your sentence and to build a paragraph, okay? And then we've even talked about how you would use it when talking about these 2 solutions, which I keep saying is so important. So that brings us back to the document that we used at the very beginning, which is right, let me find it right here. Okay, so remember, when you see that / and question mark, you know there are 2 solutions. There's solution 1 and solution 2. Okay, so how do you Again, how would you build your paragraph? What can it look like? All right, let's look at the first one that's done for us. Number 1 is done for us here. We can see it here, and we can see it in a paragraph here. All right, so remember, the problem is first, poor air quality. Then they give us more information about the problem, flu peak season, okay? Then you have to offer 2 solutions for this problem. Why do you have to offer 2 solutions? Because you see the / and question mark. When you see that, you know there's 2 solutions. You have to say the 2 solutions and give the advantage and disadvantage of those 2 solutions, which remember means you have to add these ideas because they're not in the end of module assignment. All right, so how are we going to fix this problem of poor air quality, especially during flu peak season? Well, solution 1, open the windows. Solution 2, purchase air purifiers. All right, so what did they say? How did they turn all of this, which is basically just point form, and that's not going to work for you. You need full sentences and paragraph. How would you write this? It says, about the air quality, members said it was unsatisfactory, especially during flu peak seasons. To solve the problem, we may keep the windows open. That's solution 1, so that the air circulation will be better. That's solution 2. That's the advantage of solution 1. However, the clubhouse will become noisy. That's the disadvantage of solution 1. Another solution would be to purchase air purifiers. That is solution 2, to ensure the air quality in the clubhouse. That's the advantage of solution 2. Nevertheless, this would involve extra money for the purchase and installation of the purifiers. That's the disadvantage of solution 2. All right, so nevertheless was used to introduce the disadvantage. Now, why did I choose all these different colors here? You'll notice that the advantage is yellow and the disadvantage is in green. I did it this way, and I'll send it to you. I'll send this paper to you all highlighted like this, and this is why. If you remember from last week's class, when we talked about the advantage and disadvantage and talking about 2 solutions, we used this document here, and I sent this to you. After class, I sent it to you. Remember, talking about the 2 solutions with the / and the question mark. I told you that you should use alternatively when you start talking about solution 2. We talked about using although, however, and but to show the relationship between the advantage that's highlighted in yellow and the disadvantage highlighted in green. And we also talked about the words that we've put in bold. This word is bold. So, you know, when you see that little B, that's bold. Those words are used to introduce the advantage and disadvantage. So that's how I've highlighted everything. That's what we talked about in class last week. And not only is there although, however, but that can show the relationship between the advantage and disadvantage, which are your added ideas. I did say that you can use nevertheless, and that nevertheless is only used with the disadvantage. Okay, because remember, although, but, and however, you can use them with the advantage or the disadvantage. It doesn't matter. But with nevertheless, you can only use with the disadvantage. All right, so I'm showing you this because we did this last week, and I've highlighted it a certain way, and I explained it, and I sent it to you. And that's why I'm using those same colors to highlight the same ideas here in this other paper. Okay, so you will notice that in this paragraph, they didn't use the word alternatively. Instead, they used another solution would be to, and that's fine. You can use that if you want. If you're going to use this phrase, you can. It's just you need to remember it's going to be another solution would be to. And then after the to, you need a verb with no ing, no ed or s, because to plus this kind of verb is the infinitive. So that's why you cannot have ing, ed or s on it. So you can use this instead of alternatively. All right, so then that brings me to the next few things. So it says now they want you to write about the other 3 problems. So we're going to talk about these next 3 examples here, okay? It says use the words although, however, or but to show the relationship between the advantage or disadvantage, or like I said, you can use nevertheless. It says use phrases to introduce the solution provided in Unit 8, page 6 document, or all the practice and sample answers given to you, or you can talk about the paper that we just used in class. And it says use the word alternatively or the words on the other hand when introducing solution 2. But remember, you can use alternatively, you can use on the other hand, and you can also use another solution would be to plus verb. All right, now about this one here, I want to go back to this one. It says use phrases to introduce the solution provided in Unit 8, page 6 document. What does that one look like? Now, we've talked about this 2 or 3 weeks ago. I think it was like right before Easter break. So I'm going to put that up on the screen here so you can see it. It's this one. So this is Unit 8, and this is page 6. If you look at the top of the screen, it says EGWC Unit 8 SS. So this is Unit 8 document on page 6. So this, and it says suggestion. So, these are ways to give solutions or suggestion. So these are sentence patterns you can use. So you can use these. You can use, look at every single practice paper I've given you. I think I've given you like 5 or 6 now. You've got all these. You can look at the practice papers in the paragraph, or you can look at them separately. You can focus just on the problem and sentence patterns for the problem, or sentence patterns for more details, or like what we're talking about right now, the solution. So these are different sentence patterns for the solution. So you can use these. All right. Or you can look at the build your sentence and build your paragraph document that we just spent about the last 10 or 20 minutes talking about. Okay. All right, so we've talked about this. So now we are ready to talk about these 3 practices and how to turn them into sentences. Okay, so problem 2 is slippery floor. More information about that is 2 accidents last month. Solution 1 is post warning signs, and solution 2 is part-time cleaning staff. Now, the other thing, students, you need to pay attention to is, and something you need to ask yourself, did they give you a verb? So post here, this means like put up on the wall or something. So post is a verb. Here, they did not give you a verb, so you're going to have to add your own verb for this one, okay? So we've got post warning signs. This is solution 1. What is the advantage and the disadvantage of this solution, post warning signs? Okay, I would say for post warning signs, I would say this is a pretty easy solution to implement, right? You just go to your computer, type a few words, print out the paper, and then, you make your own sign basically, and then put it up on the wall and you're done. So it seems like it's pretty cheap. It's not a very expensive solution. It's very easy to implement, very easy to do, but it's very quick. I would say any of those would be the advantage. What would be the disadvantage of just putting signs up on the wall? I would say the disadvantage, in my opinion, would be that some people don't read signs. Like there's so many signs around us that sometimes we just don't read them because there's so many. So I would say maybe people just really don't focus or pay attention to them. That would be my disadvantage. That would be the idea I would add. All right, what about solution 2, part-time cleaning staff? What is the advantage and disadvantage of this solution to fix this problem of slippery floor? Okay, for this one, I would say the part-time cleaning staff, I would say the advantage is if you're paying people to, keep the floor clean and dry, then you will never have that problem again because you've got staff members doing it, right? So this will totally make sure that the problem won't happen again. But what's the disadvantage of having cleaning staff? Or maybe you have to hire more part-time cleaning staff. What would be the disadvantage of that? I would say if you're going to have to hire more staff or use your existing staff, if you already have staff to do this, then that means you're increasing their workload. They're going to have to do more. If you're going to hire part-time staff, then that means the company has to spend more money to hire more people. Those would be my ideas. All right, so let's see how these point form ideas have been turned into full grammatical sentences in a paragraph. So we've got this right here. Our members reported that the floor of our clubhouse was slippery. In fact, there were 2 accidents last month. In response to the problem, we could post warning signs around the clubhouse. That's the solution 1. It is an immediate and inexpensive solution. That's the advantage. But not every member would pay attention to it. That's the disadvantage. Alternatively, so here comes solution 2, we may consider hiring or employing some part-time cleaning staff. Okay, the floors will always be dry and clean. That's the advantage, but it will increase our monthly expenses. That's the disadvantage, and it increases your monthly expenses because now you have to pay for these people, right? You have to pay their salary, their wages. Okay, next one. And again, right here, they do give you some ideas about how to give advantages and disadvantages. Like here, it says more cost effective. I wouldn't use this one, students. I'm just going to get rid of this one. Don't. In the end of module assignment, I would not use the word temporary solution or in the long run. We do not need that in the assignment. I've looked at the end of module assignment. You wouldn't use those words, so we're just going to get rid of it. All right, next, let's look at problem 3. So here's problem 3 more. The problem is unhygienic condition in the coffee shop. More information about that. Cockroaches were found. So now our 2 solutions. Insect killing spray. Again, notice here, students, they did not give you a verb. So when you write this in a sentence, you need to add your own verb. Or intensive cleaning of the coffee shop. Again, they do not give you a verb. You're going to have to add your own verb here. So intensive cleaning means really, I'm just kind of repeating the word, intense cleaning. It's like you're really going to do some major, big cleaning, okay? So this will probably maybe cost a lot of money or take a lot of time, okay? All right, so insect killing spray. What is the advantage of using, notice I'm using the verb use. What is the advantage of using insect killing spray? Again, I would say this is a pretty quick and easy solution. You just buy some cans of cockroach spray, bug spray, spray it around your building or whatever, and you hope it works. So again, I would say it's a quick solution and it's not expensive. What would be the disadvantage of using bug spray though? Those, you go to the supermarket, you buy those cans and you spray it around. I would say, remember, you're in a coffee shop and people come to coffee shop, they usually like to sit there, right? And maybe talk with their friends or do whatever, read, get on their phones or whatever. They want to hang out there and spend some time there. And usually these things, this spray, this smells, it has a funny smell to it. So people aren't going to want to come to your coffee shop if the coffee shop smells funny. All right, that would be the disadvantage I would include. What about intensive cleaning of the coffee shop? What would be the advantage of this? For this one, I would say it would really do the job. It would be a very effective way of killing the bugs, right? You would probably not have to worry about the problem again, or you would not have to do intensive cleaning often. I would say you would probably have to do this often. This maybe not so often. That would be the advantage, but what would be the disadvantage? For this, I would say the disadvantage, if it is intensive cleaning, like if it's really serious cleaning, it's a big kind of project, you might actually have to close the coffee shop for the day. So in order to do this, and then if you close the coffee shop for a day, you're going to lose profit. You're going to lose money for a day or two, depending on how long it takes. All right, so let's see what this looks like as a paragraph. We're going to go down here. Okay, so it says, also it has been found that the condition in the coffee shop was unhygienic as cockroaches were found. To improve the situation, it is suggested that we use insect killing spray after business hours. So if you want to include the words after business hours, you can. If you don't want to include the words after business hours, you don't have to. Notice they did use the verb use here. We use insect killing spray. It is a cost-effective solution. All right, that's the advantage. But the spray may leave a strange smell in the shop, or the spray may leave an unpleasant smell in the shop. Okay, so that's a disadvantage. On the other hand, so they used on the other hand to introduce solution 2, we could carry out intensive cleaning of the coffee shop. Notice they use the verb carry out intensive cleaning. That's solution 2. Although we may need to close down the shop for one day, so that means you're going to have to close the shop for a day. That's the disadvantage. This solution can make sure that the environment is hygienic. Okay, so that's the advantage. All right, next we have the last problem here. Okay, limited choices of fitness courses is the problem. More information about that is only 3 yoga classes per week. Notice I use the word per. So 3 classes in 1 week or 3 classes per week, P-E-R, per week. All right, we have solution 1. variety of fitness courses or survey with members. Again, notice they did not give you a verb here. And we talked about these up arrows and down arrows, I believe in week 7 or 8, like what they mean. So here you're going to have to include a verb. I would say maybe increase the variety. I would use the verb increase maybe. Increase variety of fitness courses. So what would be the advantage and what would be the disadvantage of that? All right, I would say, well, remember, you're only offering, it sounds to me like you're only offering yoga classes. So maybe you can, when they say variety, it means lots of different choices. So maybe you offer a fitness dance class or maybe a group weightlifting class or something like that. The advantage of that would be you would make more customers or more members happy. They'd be happier because they want something different and you're providing what they want. What would be the disadvantage? For this one, I would say the disadvantage would be if you're going to provide more classes, because a course is like a class. If you're going to provide more courses, what do you need then? Now, if you said money, yeah, probably. I would also say teachers, right? So, because when you have a course or a class, it's usually you have some sort of instructor or teacher. So you're going to need more people. You're going to have to hire more people. And just the process, the procedure of hiring more people takes time, and then you have to pay them, so it's going to take money too. There's a lot of possible disadvantages. What about survey with members? Now, the thing about survey can be used as a noun. It can also be used as a verb. So survey as a noun is like questionnaire, or you could survey people, which means you're using it as a verb there. So depending on how you write your sentence, you may need to add a verb, or you might use the word survey as a verb. So remember, it's kind of like questionnaire as a noun. So what would be the advantage of that? I would say if you give people a survey, you can find out their opinions, you can find out what they want, and therefore the company can provide the members with exactly what they want. What would be the disadvantage of, doing a survey? I would say it takes time, right? Because first you have to create the survey, you have to think of questions to ask. Then you have to give the members the survey and ask them questions. Some people don't like surveys, so some people might not want to answer the questions. Then once you get all of the surveys back, you have to analyze the data, right? You need to look at it and find a solution. So this one I would say maybe takes more time and also some preparation just to create the survey. All right, so let's see what they say for this as a sentence, as a paragraph. So here it is. Finally, some members reflected that our fitness courses were limited. There are only 3 yoga classes every week. To improve the situation, it might be a good idea to provide a greater variety of fitness courses. All right, that's solution 1, such as, and then if you want to add some ideas here, you can. It can meet the needs of the different members. That's the advantage. But we will need to hire extra instructors in a short time. That's a disadvantage. Alternatively, here comes solution 2, it is suggested we carry out survey with members. Okay, so that's solution 2. Notice they use the verb carry out. Here, they added that verb. And for this one, they use the verb provide. All right, so we said carry out a survey with members to find out their preferences. That's the advantage. However, this takes time and involves a lot of preparation work. That's a disadvantage. And notice they use the phrase takes time, which we talked about last week in class. And they also used involves with the disadvantage, which we talked about today and last week in class for the disadvantage. All right, so that is, again, different ways. I hope it got you thinking about how you're going to write your paragraph when you have to give the 2 solutions. Notice, again, sometimes you see suggestion, sometimes solution. And the other thing, students, remember I talked about is asking you, you're like, well, which verb are you going to use? And is there a verb here? Is there not a verb? So remember, when you're looking at the end of module assignment, it's going to be 60% of your grade. Where is it? This one here. When they give you the solutions over here, you're going to have to ask yourself, is there a verb? Is there a verb here? Here, there's not even a suggestion. Remember, you're going to have to add your own solution. Here, remember, this is the special one with the two solutions, because remember, you've got the forward slash and the question mark. Did they give you a verb here? Did they give you a verb here? And remember, here's another one where you're going to have to add your own solution. Notice at the top here, they say solution, and then here they say suggestion, but it's the same thing. Remember, you're going to have to add your own idea. You're going to have to add your own solution. And remember, you have to add the advantages of all of them. But for this one, when you see the two solutions, you have to add the advantage and disadvantage. And those are not on the individual module assignment. You have to add your own idea. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is this other paper then. And the paper I want to talk about is, again, one I sent you yesterday. And it is called Useful Expressions. I think I'm going to fix this, students. I want to change a few things because I feel this is a little bit confusing. And this is why. They give you the 4 steps, because remember, these are the 4 steps to write your paragraph. You need to say the problem. They say the word situation. I've taught you that it's more information about the problem. Then after you give more information about the problem, you need to say the solution. And then you should say the benefits or the advantage of that solution. So then I think a lot of students are going to see this and think, oh, problem. So we're going to start with this. Then, oh, situation. So this is examples of this. And they're going to think, oh, solution. This is example of this. It's not really. It's kind of confusing. I don't like how they design this. So I think I'm going to have to fix this and send this to you again. I will definitely make, because I'm not going to talk a whole lot about this right now, I will make a video and put it up on YouTube. Not YouTube. I'll put it up on Moodle. It'll probably be Thursday or Friday, though, of this week. I've got lots of other stuff I got to do. So there's that. The thing that I want to focus on is down here. I want to focus on this right here, okay? Because we just finished talking about the 2 solutions, okay? Again, when you see that forward slash and you see that question mark, you know you've got 2 solutions. So hire more staff is solution 1, and self-service ticket machines is solution 2. So let's look at the whole problem. And I do want to, let's see if I, oh no. See if I can, okay, let's keep it there. It says that, let me make this bigger. It says, this is from page 133, HT study package. HT is hotel and tourism. So you haven't seen this one because you're engineering students. All right, so the problem is inefficient service at admission ticket counters. Okay, what is more information about that? Long queues. All right. Then the solutions or suggestions. Solution 1, hire more staff. Remember, you need to give your advantage and disadvantage. Solution 2, self-service ticket machines. That's solution 2. And remember, you have to add your advantage and disadvantage. Now here for this exercise, they actually gave you, oops, let me move this down a bit. What they've done is they've put solution number 1 here, hire more staff. So we see hire more staff. But then they've given you the advantage. Okay, what's the advantage of this solution? Faster service. Then they've also given you the disadvantage, which is increase our cost on manpower. Okay, then solution 2, remember solution 2 is self-service ticket machine. So we have that right here, set up self-service ticket machine. Then what's the advantage? Convenient, several visitors can buy the tickets at the same time. And then the disadvantage of this is some visitors find it difficult to use the machine. Okay, what they want you to do is turn all of these ideas into a paragraph. So we've got idea 1, we've got idea 1A, which is the advantage, idea 1B, which is the disadvantage, solution 2, idea 2, which is solution 2, 2A is the advantage of solution 2, and 2B is the disadvantage of solution 2. So the way your paragraph is going to work is you are going to, you can write, you're going to talk about idea 1 first, solution 1, then the advantage and disadvantage of solution 1. Then you're going to talk about solution 2, and then the advantage and disadvantage of solution 2. So 1, 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B. So remember 1, 1A, 1B, 2, 2A, 2B. All right, so how would you write this in a paragraph? What would that look like? What words would you use? All right, we've got just a few minutes because at 4:30 I have a different English class that I'm teaching and I have to give to those students. So we'll go over this quickly. So this is the possible, let me make this, I'm going to zoom out a bit So that way you can see everything. So remember, students, wait 1 second. All right, so this is what you see on the practice paper. Then these are the ideas that they're giving you, and now you see it all together in a sentence, okay? All right, so it says, some visitors also complained that the service at the admission ticket counter was inefficient. That's the problem, because there were long queues. More information about the problem. To improve the situation, it might be a good idea to, okay, here's solution 1, hire more staff at the ticket counters. It is hoped that we can provide a faster service. That's the advantage. But this will increase our costs on manpower. That's a disadvantage. Alternatively, we could set up self-service ticket machines. That's solution 2. We believe that this is a convenient measure. That's the advantage. As several visitors can buy tickets at the same time. All of that's the advantage. However, some visitors might find it difficult to use the machines, especially the elderly. That's the disadvantage of solution 2. All right, so I think I might change this and update this document a little bit, but send it back again to you, and I'll make a video after I make the changes and after I send that document to you. One thing it says about to improve the situation, it might be a good idea too, and it is hoped that. That's the phrases that they're using up here. Okay, it might be a good idea too. It is hoped that. So there are some of these phrases. So again, I'll talk about this. I need to make a video and we'll talk about it. All right, so and then they put all these ideas together in sentences and examples here. So step 2, in response to the problem. Step 3, it may be a good idea too. So we got that from here. 2, so it says here 2, in response to this problem. 3, it might be a good idea too. And then you can say the rest. I'll explain this more in a video that I make for this document. Again, I think I'm going to make some changes up here because I think it's not very clear. All right, students, so I have another practice session that I have to go to, and it's not for this subject. It's for a different English subject. So I'm going to have to go. I can stay for another minute or two if you have questions, and if not, you can email me. So any questions about this? You guys okay? Okay. All right, students, any questions? Because if not, I'm going to go to my other practice that I have to give to my students, another English class. It's not this information, different information. Any questions? Any questions? Anybody? No? Okay. Thank you, Andy. All right, so thank you guys. Y'all are free to go, so I'll stick around. Bye-bye, guys. Thank you for coming. You guys are awesome. If you don't have any questions, you may go. I'll stick around for maybe another minute or two, and then I've got to go to my other extra practice. But thank you for coming. Just so you know, the practice on Wednesday, the extra practice, is the same as this one. Okay, same information as this one. So have a good day, guys. Glad you guys came to the extra practice. Okay, take care. Have a good day. Okay, students, I have another practice, so I'm going to leave the meeting because I have another practice for another module. Okay, so thank you all of you for coming. And I'm going to leave the meeting now. All right, so bye everybody. Take care.